how we think, how we act, how we remember Black history. It's our mind, body, and soul that strengthen our community. Honoring Black History, Part 2.
Thank you so much for joining us for this year's Honoring Black History Month special. I'm Charmayne Brown.
And I'm Jermaine Ferrell.
We are celebrating the achievements of Black Americans who have made their marks in history and also recognizing their lives, tragedies, and triumphs.
Since 1976, every U.S. president has officially designated the month of February as Black History Month. And
this year's theme focuses on the importance of health and wellness.
Now tonight we begin with a Roanoke man making a positive impact on his community. WFXR's Deanna Reynolds introduces us to a local trailblazer who is creating change one meal at a time.
Health and wellness is this year's Black History Month theme.
It's important because a lot of our black folks, you know, people of the land, they are they scared of vegetables.
Larry Jones owns Screaming Vegan in Northwest Roanoke. He knows a thing or two about trying to convince people to eat healthy. His restaurant is in the middle of a predominantly black neighborhood where the healthiest food options aren't necessarily available.
I grew up around the corner from here. When I was young, this used to be a restaurant called the Goodie Shop. They sold everything from sweet potato tarts to specials every day.
That's why it's not just important for Jones to offer healthy food. He also wants to teach people about the benefits, like lowering blood pressure or your chances of developing type 2 diabetes, which tend to be detrimental to black families.
You got to eat what heals you, not kills you.
Now, the recipes at Screaming Vegan may surprise you.
A lot of people may think it's crazy, but I love the cheeseburgers, man.
It's not your regular cheeseburger. It's made a little different. You can get a black bean burger or a quinoa burger, but Christian Kirchman says he prefers those vegan burgers over what he normally gets from fast food.
To me, it's a cleaner, healthier taste. Also digests better in my system.
He also understands the importance of what Larry is trying to do here.
It's something different, man. It's something that the city needs.
It's your choice now.
Misty Kelly is a new customer and already says she's hooked.
We had come down here, I think it was a week ago, and found out about it and tried one of the patty melts, and here we are again.
She also understands the benefits.
The vitamins and everything is so much better for you, and it makes you feel better.
Benefits Jones wants more in the black community to understand. He wants to help the community he grew up in, not just by owning a business, but by changing minds. In Roanoke, Deanna Reynolds, WFXR News.
And there are tons of black-owned businesses in our area to highlight. Take a look at your screen. In Roanoke, you can find anything from soul food to award-winning coffees and cakes to upscale meals. We'll have a link to our website with all these businesses on WFXRTV.com.
I've actually tried a couple of those. Pretty good. Virginia University of Lynchburg has been training leaders for the past 130 years, and since the beginning, the university has been co-educational and also committed to the biblical principles and the philosophy of self-help. Well, today, that university is still building world leaders. It's a small, private, historically black Christian institution of higher learning. Built in 1886, tucked away, nestled on Garfield Avenue in Lynchburg.
I'm loving it. It's great. It is great. It's an awesome experience.
VUL is the first institution of higher learning in the city of Lynchburg. It's a Christian school, originally Virginia Seminary and College. As stated, just 21 years out of slavery. African-American Baptist leaders founded this institution so black men and women could be better educated to meet the demands of the community.
But as the university progressed over the years, I saw the education program building up.
And that was one reason sophomore Jamie McCoy enrolled. Representation was the other. She's an entrepreneur studying organizational management.
It's a whole different atmosphere coming to an HBCU and belonging and feeling a sense of pride when you are learning.
That sentiment shared among many students here at VUL, a feeling of belonging, a culture they embrace, a sense of pride they can only get from attending an HBCU, McCoy shares.
People like Ann Spencer attended Virginia University of Lynchburg. Lots of great people have gone here, and it's just a legacy that I look forward to being a part of when I graduate.
Ann Spencer was a teacher, a poet, and an activist, fighting for the equal rights of her people. She was one of several you may recognize or be familiar with. Gregory Willie Hayes also laid the foundation for blacks here at VUL.
He talks about the whole importance of giving your best, and that the Negro should not be judged, in essence, by the color of his skin, but by the merit of his content. Those words ought to sound very familiar.
Dr. James Coleman is a dean. He recalls Gregory Hayes giving Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. the framework for his famous "I Have a Dream" speech. That speech, those words, still resonate through the world today.
Established by Negroes, for Negroes, to become teachers and ministers and to change the world. And this school, with a philosophy of self-help and independence, believed very strongly that if we help ourselves, and we can do it without being controlled by external forces, that we can make a huge impact on the world.
And quite the impact Virginia University of Lynchburg is making. More than 500 students attend, studying business, government, family, education, religion, entertainment, media, and technology, as well as a one-year doctoral program in healthcare administration.
We've configured it differently. We fashioned it after the needs of our students.
Dean Dr. Rex Hammond helped launch this program. He sees the growth of this legendary university and knows the importance of the legacy and unity of VUL.
People are very proud of what HBCUs have done in America.
We have all walks of life represented here at Virginia University.
Past history makers paving the way for future history makers, one semester at a time. That's a little hidden secret here in Lynchburg.
That's true. Yeah, if you don't know exactly where it is, I mean, you kind of miss it. But it is a great program and a great school, and there's such tremendous history. I mean, talk about started off as a Christian-based school, seminary, and educating new pastors, getting them going. So yeah, great job on that story, and it's just tremendous stuff there.
Absolutely, they do a phenomenal job. Students walk around with a sense of pride there. So
yeah, they got their chest out because they're excited about what they're doing at VUL.
Absolutely.
Well, we're not done with this wonderful show. Forging the Path During the Civil Rights Movement. Coming up in this year's Honoring Black History Month, we introduce you to an athlete who paved the way for Virginia Tech athletics.
We now return to Honoring Black History, Part 2.
And welcome back, everybody. Nearly 55 years ago, Jerry Gaines walked onto the campus of Virginia Tech, becoming the first full scholarship African-American athlete to attend the school. And WFXR Sports' David DeGuzman explains how the Hampton Roads native forged a path for other black athletes to follow in Blacksburg.
All those big stone buildings, I had never seen anything like that. It was a transformative period in my life. There were a lot of huge changes, things that I had never experienced. I had never even seen a mountain, to give you any idea.
Virginia Tech today is a lot different from the Virginia Tech Jerry Gaines attended back in the fall of 1967.
During those years, there were ridiculous things they had to consider. Things you would consider ridiculous now. Who is he going to room with? Is he going to eat in the dining hall? Will he be able to swim in the university pool?
Gaines became a student at the height of the civil rights movement in the late 1960s, making history as the school's first African-American athlete on full scholarship.
And no one in my neighborhood had ever gotten a scholarship to college. No one, hardly anybody had ever gone to college. So when I found out that I was going to be going to Tech, everybody in the neighborhood was really happy about the whole thing, the whole family and everybody. And so it put a little pressure on me to not fail. I had to be successful for their sakes, to not let them down. You were automatically an experiment to see if it could work. But coming in, there were a lot of people that didn't want it to work. It made the pressure that much higher on me to make it work. So I had to be this person that was not only acceptable, but welcomed.
The track was where Jerry found refuge. In a world that was unequal in nearly every aspect of his life, Gaines saw athletics as the great equalizer.
You compete against world champions and Olympic gold medalists, you know, every year. And so here I am, a freshman, and I'm going against the best in the world in different things. It's serious pressure, but I just use that to as a motivator to make myself better.
Gaines turned out to be one of the best. His school record in the outdoor long jump stood for 42 years, and his 120-yard hurdles record still stands to this day.
I had no intentions of being anyone's pioneer. That wasn't the idea. My idea was to go there, to do well, academically, athletically, and to graduate. Being the first at Virginia Tech meant being the only at Virginia Tech. So it was a lonely time. So I can't tell you the number of nights I said, you know, God, what in the world did you put me in this place for? Because there was no one there.
Gaines knows the answer to that now. He sees it in the faces of other black athletes that have thrived at Virginia Tech since he paved the way more than a half a century ago. After graduating, Gaines became a father, teacher, coach, and mentor. And at a time when many are still fighting for change, he has a message for those inspired by his story.
What advice I give people is to change that little piece of the world that you can change. Your day-to-day experiences and exchanges with other people actually are what will make the difference.
And that was David DeGuzman reporting. Now, Jerry Gaines, when he gets the opportunity, he does make regular visits back to Blacksburg to catch up with Virginia Tech athletics. And again, as David DeGuzman said, what for Jerry Gaines paving the way for other African-American athletes to shine on the campus of Virginia Tech. Charmayne.
Ooh, nicely done, right? Well, still to come, farmers are key in our country's food supply, but the industry has dwindled over the decades, and the number of black farmers has dramatically dropped. Well, coming up next, how one Virginia University is helping prepare the next generation of farmers.
We now return to Honoring Black History, Part 2.
Well, tonight, a look at the farming industry and how farmers, especially black farmers, have been negatively impacted for decades by discrimination and debt.
Now, Charmayne, we're introducing you to one Central Virginia farm that's learning and helping to shape a new generation in agriculture.
Even on a chilly winter day, Herbert Brown Sr. has plenty to do on his farm in Warfield.
So this is what is going to come in the grocery store.
Yep, that's what you buy at the grocery store.
A small community in Brunswick County.
Welcome to Browntown, population 12.
12 people call Browntown Farms home, land that has been in the family since 1908.
They purchased 348 acres of land for $1,200.
Our legacy is strong. You know, to be a century farm is a blessing.
113 years later, another generation's father and son weeding side by side.
Terrible. Man, that's a terrible one there.
Working to keep their recently revived family farm alive and to make it thrive. Both tasks that have become nearly Herculean for small farmers over the decades, especially black farmers. As the Browns rebuilt part of their farm over the last 16 years, the number of other black farmers across Virginia fell substantially. From 2012 to 2017, state data shows a 9% drop in Virginia's black producers compared to a 5.5% drop among white producers. It's a trend that's been playing out across Virginia and the nation for decades.
We're black farmers and we're almost extinct.
We work specifically with helping them increase their income.
Janine Parker Woods of the Virginia Cooperative Extension helps minority farmers upscale and update.
We work with them and help increase their production techniques.
The extension tries to narrow the gap between black and white farmers because black farmers are losing their farms at greater rates, turning less of a profit, making the gap harder to bridge.
If you're already starting with limited resources, it makes that jump even further.
Updated U.S. agricultural census data isn't expected until 2024, but Wood says their on-the-ground impression is that black farmers are having a resurgence.
older producers that had jobs previously, you know, and have decided to come back home. Young people that have decided that it's important to teach their kids where their food comes from.
This is smooth kale.
Young people, she says, will really be the key, and HBCUs like Virginia State University will help shape them.
I wouldn't have gotten into agriculture if it wasn't for, you know, the 1890 scholarship and Virginia State being that connecting piece for me.
Students like Desmond Owens are learning from farmers like Herbie Sr. and Jr.
And we'll harvest them right around strawberry season.
Who now, 16 years after giving away collards, are selling out of nearly all their produce. Plus, their well-known strawberry jam with next to no marketing, expanding the farm's physical operations. While Herbie Jr. also works on expanding Browntown's presence online. Where else these days but TikTok?
This right here, this is
Hoping to inspire this generation of black farmers and the next with their success.
That opportunities are endless.
Opportunities are endless.
That's right, using modern social media, get that rocking and rolling. That was Deanna Albrittin reporting. Now, research has shown black farmers, just like other black business owners, have had a hard time accessing loans. So the federal government has settled billions of dollars in civil rights lawsuits over this issue, although that money has been hard to access.
Meantime, the Virginia Cooperative Extension is also attempting to help black farmers access any other resources available to improve viability for those farms.
And coming up more with our show, we will speak with Virginia Cavaliers Athletic Director Dr. Carla Williams, the first black woman to become athletic director at a Power 5 school, on her challenges and opportunities she creates for women just like her. This is Honoring Black History, Mind, Body, and Soul.
We now return to Honoring Black History, Part 2.
And welcome back, everybody. On October 22nd, 2017, the University of Virginia making history, or in this case, her story, as they named Dr. Carla Williams the school's 10th director of athletics. It is significant as she is the first African-American female to become an athletics director at a Power 5 school. She replaced African-American Craig Littlepage as he was AD for 16 years. Williams' road to this position is paved with hard work and effort in meeting the goal of being an AD.
I just have to stop and think about it, and I'm so thankful for the opportunity. And you know, I would say that it's an awesome responsibility, because I want to do really well so that others get an opportunity, and I know how important that is. And of course I know Candace and I know Nina, and there are many, many other Black women who are fully qualified to be in this role, and they just need opportunities.
Carla Williams' opportunity to become UVA's athletic director started when she was growing up in LaGrange, Georgia. She loved all sports, but she excelled in basketball, leading her to a scholarship to the University of Georgia in the late 1980s to play for legendary coach Andy Landers.
I was not the best player in the state of Georgia my senior year. There was another player that was rated higher than me, and Coach Landers offered me that scholarship, and I asked him about that years later. You know, why did you pick me? And he said, I saw something in you, and I knew that you needed to be at Georgia, and so I was so thankful that he saw something in me that I probably didn't see in myself.
After graduation, Williams played some pro hoops overseas, but she came back to her alma mater in 1991 for a 5-year run as an assistant for Landers. She feels was an important experience even to this day.
But I use what I learned as a coach almost every day as an athletic director. And I just think it's so valuable. It's such a valuable experience to be able to understand what the coaches go through, what they experience, what the challenges are.
In 1996, Williams hung up her whistle to get into athletic administration. She paid her dues over the next 21 years with roles in athletic administration at Georgia, Florida State, Vanderbilt, and back at Georgia, where in 2015 she was named Deputy of Athletics. While at Florida State, she got her PhD in athletic administration. There were chances for her to become an athletic director at a few Power 5 schools, but those schools decided to go in a different direction.
I try to use everything as a learning experience, and you know, and then there were disappointments where, there were jobs that came available, and I said, you know what, I'm not going to interview for it. I'll just wait for the right opportunity.
That right opportunity came in the form of the University of Virginia. In 2017, after 3 interviews with Williams, UVA had their person they wanted for AD in Carla Williams. With the gig at Virginia comes a responsibility for Williams representing African-American women, and she doesn't take it lightly.
And I say this also to my mentees that I talk with, it's a burden as well, because I know what my failure would mean to others who aspire to be in this position also. And I know that we may be held to a higher standard of performance as well. So it's a burden for sure. One that I willingly accepted because I think it's the right sacrifice so that others can see that they can do it, see that it's possible, and so that I can help people believe they can do it. Like I didn't exist, so I didn't have me, right? I didn't have a Black female athletic director to call and talk to and say, how did you do it? Or how do you do this? Or how do you do that? And what about this? What do you do when someone says this? What do you do when someone says that? What do you do when someone treats you this way? I had none of that. And so it's really important for other Black women and Black men who want to be athletic directors to be able to learn and grow and know, what some of the challenges are and how to overcome those.
Now, since Williams' hiring in 2017, 2 more African-American women were named as ADs at Power 5 schools. That's Candace Story Lee at Vanderbilt in 2020, and last year, Nina King at Duke. Now, Williams' big initiative for the Virginia Athletic Department is the Master Plan, a multi-million-dollar upgrade for all of the Cavaliers' athletic facilities. Now, to see my full interview with Carla Williams, we have it all for you on WFXRTV.com, as well as any of the stories you missed with our 2 specials of honoring Black History Month. And Dr. Carla Williams, she is a baller shot caller, and what she does, I mean, the road is not easy.
Oh, I know. Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Amen to that. I mean, and she persevered. She kept doing it. She met her goal. And what she's doing, she's opened up the doors. In fact, one thing she loves to do, Dr. Brown, because you are a doctor here, is that she loves to mentor young African-American women and give back. And that's a special thing. When you can give back, it's really big time. I absolutely love it like that. Each one teach one. So once you get it, you pass it on to somebody else and you bring them up so we can continue to pave the way for our future. I tell you, I love those sayings you come up with. Oh, I didn't come up with them. I just know how to quote them. There you go. You schooling me, as they say. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight for our Honoring Black History Month special. Again, if you missed any of our parts of our shows, you can catch it all on WFXRTV.com. Absolutely. Make it a great night, everybody. Thank you.